our people till the breaking of the dawn.
Hey, from the Jersey to Jerusalem, Hebrew wisdom in my flow, walking in the footsteps of the ancients, letting spirit grow. 12 tribes scattered abroad, now finding where we belong. Shalom, 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 shalom.
Finding the one to know, no, 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 no.
From the Jersey to Jerusalem, Hebrew wisdom in my flow, walking in the footsteps of the ancients, letting spirit grow. 12 tribes scattered abroad, now finding where we belong. Shalom, shalom.
Covenant Convo with ShayYah. The marathon continues on, speaking truth about our people till the breaking of the dawn. From the Jersey to Jerusalem, Hebrew wisdom in my flow, walking in the footsteps of the ancients, letting spirit grow.
12 tribes scattered abroad, now finding where we belong. Shalom, 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 shalom.
Shalom. From the Jersey to Jerusalem, Hebrew wisdom in my flow, walking in the footsteps of the ancients, letting spirit grow. 12 tribes scattered abroad, now finding where we belong. Shalom, 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 shalom. Israelites awakening, rising up to take our place. Scattered tribes returning home, reconnecting with His grace. Covenant Convos with ShayYah. The marathon continues on, speaking truth about our people till the breaking of the dawn. From the Jersey to Jerusalem, Hebrew wisdom in my flow, walking in the footsteps of the ancients, letting spirit grow.
12 tribes scattered abroad, now finding where we belong. Shalom, shalom,
Shalom, shalom, shalom.
Shalom, family. Shalom, and welcome to Covenant Convo with ShayYah. I am your host and sister, ShayYah. Last week, we talked about the creation of man and how the Most High created man in a specific and deliberate design. The elements that were absorbed within the form of the bodily aspects of man, and the spiritual responsibility and blessings that was bestowed upon man through the crowning of honor and glory. This week, we're going to talk about the body from the perspective of an earthly vessel. The Most High built the body with value, power, and purpose. Now let's look at why he gave us this body and how we can be better stewards of it. The body is the vessel through which we live out our humanity. It's basically a mobile device. It must be charged, fed, and protected. The body is the physical vessel, made from the dust of the earth, of course, and it is a temporary housing for the spirit of man. And while we are alive and as we are the children of Yasharel, it is the temple of the Most High. Romans, the 6th chapter, the 12th to the 13th verse. Let's lay down some scriptural foundation. Let not sin therefore reign in your mortal body, that ye should obey it in the lusts thereof. Neither yield ye your members as instruments of unrighteousness unto sin, but yield yourselves unto Yah as those that are alive from the dead, and your members as instruments of righteousness unto Yah. The body carries out the decisions of the soul and reflects which spirit is in control. 1 Corinthians, the 9th chapter and the 27th verse says, but I keep under my body. I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway. The body is not inherently evil, but it can become a slave to sin when ruled by the flesh. Galatians 5:16 and 17 says, this I say then, walk in the spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that ye would. So at the end of this particular session of part 2, our hopes is to come away with an in-depth understanding of how we can, first of all, what is sin against the body and sin against the Most High Yah, and how we can avoid that, and how we can train ourselves, our bodies, to act accordingly and to do those things which are pleasing to the Most High Yah. One of the ways that we sin against our bodies and against the Most High is through our diets. Last week, we talked about the elements within our bodies and why those elements are important in the health of our bodies and the continuation of a healthy lifestyle. Now we're going to talk about foods that can hinder that goal. So, diet as preservation. The Levitical diet was a way for the Most High to teach us how to preserve the earthly elements within our body for optimal lifestyle. So we have here, Yah's laws filter out element draining foods, unclean meats, scavengers, blood dishes. Clean foods supply and preserve minerals like iron, zinc, magnesium, selenium, and copper that maintain Yah's original dust of the earth composition. These nutrients strengthen bones, blood, and immunity, and they prevent cellular breakdown. They're also a part of a covenantal responsibility. Maintaining Yah's dietary laws preserves both physical and spiritual blueprints of Yasharel. Obedience isn't just avoiding defilement, it's about protecting Yah's design for strength, clarity, and long life. Our health is not just for us. It is a part of our covenant witness to the nations. A defiled, addicted, or weak vessel cannot represent the Most High fully. Obedience in diet and discipline equals testimony of holiness. A strong, undefiled body reflects Yah's order and separates us from heathen practices. Neglecting the body weakens both physical strength and spiritual authority. Yah set you apart to be a special people above all nations. Deuteronomy 7 and 6 says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Most High Yah. Yah hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth." Yah's purpose for us requires a life of sacrifice. And because he set us above all the other nations on the face of the earth, Romans 12 and 1 says, "I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of Yah, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto Yah, which is your reasonable service. To whom much is given, much is required." Because we have been elevated above everyone else, and because we have access to the monarch himself, it is only reasonable. We have responsibility and we have obligation to uphold that responsibility. Now let's look at some of the harms of the unclean diet that the Most High has forbidden for the children of Yasharel. Many of these unclean foods, such as vultures and crabs, they bring a lot of harm to the body and are the root of a lot of the sicknesses that we experience within our bodies. Mineral depletion via anti-nutrients come through unclean foods, poorly prepared grains, legumes, bind calcium, magnesium, iron, copper, zinc, causing these are blocking absorption. Leads to fragile bones, muscle weakness, slower healing, lowered immunity. Please forgive me, I'm still not feeling that great myself. Many of these things have parasites, pathogen, and toxin and have toxin burdens. So pork, shellfish, catfish, and other scavengers carry parasites. They cause trichinosis and tapeworms, bacteria, and heavy metals, mercury, arsenic, and lead. All these things are very harmful. These displace beneficial minerals, disrupt immunity, and damage organs. Processed foods. I know many of us, live a kind of fast life because the system we're under. We're constantly working or we're on the go. We have a lot to do. So sometimes eating processed foods or fast foods are very convenient as it relates to time, but they're not very healthy and they have a short-term and long-term effect on the body. For example, ultra-processed foods lack essential minerals and often contain additives that leach nutrients from the body. They lead to poor healing, delayed recovery, inflammation, and weakened immunity. Consuming unclean food is not only unhealthy, it is a sin against Yah because it defiles the body he created as his temple. So these are not harmless sins. Now, I have a little video that I'd like to show you about some of the things relating to pork because a lot of our people seem to think that eating pork is okay. They seem to think that the Bible gives them leeway in the New Testament, which is absolutely not true. And we've talked about these things, many of us that are actually subscribed to my channels and follow me, we've talked about the misunderstanding of the story about Peter's dream and what have you. And maybe again at some point, I'll touch on that. But we must understand that the Most High does not change. And so when he gives us an order, that order stands. Let's take a look at this video. Okay. Oh, here we go. Let me stop here and say we know we're not a religion. We are an identity. We are a lineage. And all of these religions, Islam, Christianity, Judaism, are basically thefts of our culture. And they have made religions out of these things to control populations and to push the illusion that they are superior. The people so certainly have no leg to stand on. We don't eat these things because our Elohim, the Most High Yah, has forbidden those things and no other reason. We are not religious. We are covenant keepers. One second, because it doesn't look like this is playing. Give me just a second. See if I can fix this to where it will actually play. Let's try it again here, guys. Sorry. No, it's not working. Hmm. Okay, so this is what we'll do. I can't seem to get this video to play for you. It's playing on my end, but it's not playing for you. We'll just go through the presentation, but note that there is a link in the packet that I sent out to you guys via email with this video about the defilement of swine. I apologize. I have to figure out what I need to do to get that to play for you guys when I want to do this for you in the future. But for now, we'll just continue to go through with the message. As you see on your screen, Leviticus, the 11th chapter, the 7th through the 8th verse, and the swine, though he divide the cup, divide the hoof, and be clothed unclean to you. Of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. From Torah to the prophets, Yah made it clear swine defiles the body and brings judgment. Isaiah 66 and 17, they that sanctify themselves and purify themselves in the gardens behind one tree in the midst, eating swine's flesh and the abomination and the mouse shall be consumed together, saith Yah. That does not sound like he has any intentions on changing his mind as it relates to swine. It causes cancers. You can get all kinds of trichinosis and tapeworms and diabetes and high blood pressure and high cholesterol just by eating this. It was so bad. The Most High saw this as such a terrible thing that he said, don't even touch the dead body of it. Now, let me explain to you what pigs were used for in ancient times. In Yasharel, we had what were called pig farmers. And these pig farmers had, 50, maybe 20, 30 pigs, somewhere between 20 and 50 pigs. And they would load these pigs up on their carriage, and they would let them out all the garbage, all the things that basically unclean around the neighborhood, any poop or anything like that that would have been around. The pigs would eat those things up, and then after they finished cleaning and also to keep the grass and things down like that down low as well. And after they would finish cleaning, the pig farmer would load the pigs back up in his carriage and take them back to his pig farm. So in essence, pigs were not food. Pigs were cleaning utensils. And so that's what our people used them for. They did not use them as a source of food. That came under the harsh condition. Now, let's talk about how some of these things develop within us, because we have sensories, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your tongue, and your feeling in your hands, feet, legs, or wherever in your body. You cannot have a craving for something that you've never had. You have to open that door. You have to expose yourself. You have to expose your body to these things in order for your body to crave these things. And once you've developed those types of cravings, whether be through your own doing or through force or anything like that, you then have to put the hard work in to retrain your body. You have to deny yourself of these sinful things and put a focus on righteous things as it relates to your body. So let's take a look at what we have here. The body is not only defiled by unclean foods, it can be defiled by anything it is repeatedly exposed to. Eyes, ears, mouth, and touch are gates. What enters through them trains the flesh. If you never open the gate, the craving is never born. Yah shows us righteous exposure. Psalms 34 and 8. Oh, taste and see that Yah is good. Blessed is the man that trusteth in him. So when we in other words, give the Most High a chance, yield our members towards him, spend time in his presence, get in his word, spend time around righteous brothers and sisters, fellowshipping, singing, and offering up praise to the Most High. That experience can be so electrifying, and the Most High is saying, just try it and see how great it is. That's why the scripture says how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It's a good and pleasant experience, and then you crave it. When you were young, I'm sure you went to a friend's house or an event and you liked it so much you wanted to go back the next day. Sometimes children, when you take them to go visit a family member with you and they're playing with their little cousins, they have so much fun they don't want to leave. They're like, can I spend the night? And you're like, no, you had enough fun. It's time to come home. Or they don't want to separate from the person they're enjoying so much. Can she come and spend the night? Or can he come and spend the night? That's a similar thing when you get in the presence of your brothers and sisters in Yasharel in righteousness. And it should be the same way that you feel, and if not more so, when you're in the presence of the Most High Yah. Scripture also warns us of corrupt exposure. James, the first chapter, 14th and 15th verse lets us know, but every man is tempted when he is drawn away of his own lust and enticed. Then when lust hath conceived, it bringeth forth sin, and sin, when it is finished, bringeth forth death. Again, if you don't expose yourself to certain things, then you don't have to worry about that struggle. If you've never smoked a cigarette, you don't have a craving for nicotine. If you've never smoked weed or crack or anything, you don't have a desire to get high. You have to actually experience these things, or whether it be by force. There are plenty of examples of young men or young women that were somebody stole their cookies when they were a child. And you know what I mean if you're a part of the Covenant Convo mailing list. And because of that, it causes that child to either be promiscuous as they grow older, or it causes them to be introduced into alternative lifestyles of abomination as they get older, because those cravings, those feelings have been opened up and exposed to them. It was a bad experience as to how they were introduced into it, but the flesh found some kind of pleasure in that. And not in the fact that they were being, violated in any way, but the feelings that came upon them, and it came upon their flesh, or the cravings that come from that. There's oftentimes a sense of guilt and shame, because a woman, they have talked about how women, when their cookies are in the act of being stolen, and sometimes they may have a physical reaction and have an orgasm, and that makes them they feel guilty about that, especially if they are married or have a male in their life that they love and are intimate with, and then some stranger steals their cookies and they have an orgasm through that experience. It's not that they wanted what happened to them, but the body's natural reflex kicks in, and that's hard for some to grasp in their mind, that you could be thinking one thing and feeling one thing spiritually and from a soul perspective, but your body is going in a whole nother direction. So from blessing to corruption, exposure shapes desire. What you allow through the body's gates will either train your flesh in righteousness or enslave it to sin. In captivity, our people were deliberately and purposefully forced to participate in covenant breaking practices. Our ancestors were forcefully defiled, beaten, tortured, and forced to eat pork, blood dishes, feces, and even human flesh. Many of them chose to die rather than do these things. And some of them were tortured, and they still put these things in their mouths, or whatever, even cookies stole their dead bodies even. The purpose was to humiliate, break covenant identity, and defile the Temple of Yah. Under the illusion of freedom, heathens mock and secretly defile us through deceptive foods, fake meats, chemical additives, hidden unclean ingredients. Examples are like Twinkie cakes or Hostess cakes. Those have pork. Slim Jim is marketed as a beef stick, and yet it has pork in it. There are so many things that we don't know, about the different foods that we eat, because they're hidden, and they come up with these strange names that we don't know anything about, riboflavin and all these different types of things that the average person does not even recognize. They're not just going to put it on there that it's pork, even though they probably could, because most people don't read the ingredients of the items that they purchase. They just kind of grab, you want a bag of Doritos, you just grab it. And we tend to learn about the impure or defiling ingredients that are in these items secondhand. Somebody says, hey, you shouldn't eat that. It got this in it. You're like, for real? They're like, yeah, look at the back of it. And you look at it and you see, oh man, I can't even eat this. You know, in America, in restaurants and in prepackaged, pre-prepared and packaged foods, almost all of it has pork or some other covenant breaking ingredient. Because of slavery's conditioning and the prophecy of lost heritage, many accept this pollution willingly, not realizing they're being defiled. And even when they find out, many don't care. They just don't care. They see it's been so long that not only are they eating these things that once were forced into our people and our ancestors literally lost their lives over it, we actually go out of our way to pay our hard-earned money to eat these things, which is an absolute disgrace to our ancestors, a disgrace to our whole lineage, and it is a defilement and a rebellion and abomination against the Most High Yah. Jeremiah 17:4 tells us, thou shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, letting us know that we would stop following along the covenantal guidelines that were laid out for us. In Maccabees, the 6th chapter, 18th through the 31st verse, and the 7th chapter, 1st through the 42nd verse, we see many of our ancestors chose death rather than the defilement. Our ancestors were force-fed defilement to break their covenant identity. Today, under the illusion of freedom, it happens again. Only this time, we participate through conditioned ignorance. Yah calls us to wake up, refuse the king's meat like Daniel. And you can read Daniel, the 1st chapter and the 8th verse for that whole backdrop of that story. But we must choose life. We have a lot of technology that we can look up. What was the Levitical diet that our people ate on a regular basis? What were their dietary habits outside of just seeing what you can and cannot eat? What kind of dishes and meals did they prepare? How many times did they eat? What time did they eat? We can look all these things up through, research, and we can start preparing meals, grocery lists and meals, and begin to retrain our bodies to eat the things that we should eat and to stop eating the things that we should not eat. After this session, I would hope that some of you would be inspired to join me in my journey. I am doing a cleanse so that I can start eating a more ancient Yashralim diet. I have left eating the unclean foods a long time ago, but I still want to become more of who we are supposed to be. So I used the technology that is available to find out some of the dishes and recipes that my ancestors made, and I have prepared a grocery list and a 7-day meal plan for myself. And that way I can be, now I'm not used to eating these things that are in my 7-day meal plan, making my own snacks and things like that from clean ingredients, but I'm going to force myself. I'm going to bring my flesh into subjection. I'm going to keep my body and submit it under the will of the Most High Yah. And my taste buds will have to go along with it or continue to be miserable, but this is what we're going to do because we want to live right. We only have a limited amount of time on this earth, and we want to make sure that we complete the assignments that the Most High has allocated for us to complete. And we don't want to run out of time without getting our work done, because when we see him, we want him to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. We don't want to get caught with our work undone because we did not take care of our bodies in the way that we should, which would have allowed us to live out the years that it would take for us to complete the missions that the Most High has assigned for us to complete. Now, this is another video, but I don't think that it's going to play for you guys. I'll give it a try and we'll see what happens. happens here? Nope, it's not going to play for you guys. This video is also in your packets that I sent out to you via email. And so I would encourage you to watch these videos and get an understanding of what exactly you've been putting into your body and why it is imperative that we make deliberate and purposeful changes. The lifestyle of Yasharim people is a very proactive lifestyle. You have to be on guard because your adversary, who is a roaring lion, is seeking whom he may devour. And he's looking for different ways and avenues to get after us. And you cannot be a lazy or passive Yasharim person. You have to be on guard because you are constantly under threat and under danger. The enemy is constantly seeking out a way to defile you. Ignorance versus knowledge. Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy Elohim, I will also forget us any longer. We don't want him to forget our children. And so we want to make sure that we do not forget him or his law. Now we pay to consume them in ignorance. And that's why we're destroyed. We're literally taking the hard-earned money we slave ourselves for and purchasing the things that are destroying us. What was once torture has become willing defilement through deception. Ignorance is not an excuse. Ignorance is not an excuse. I'm going to say it again like Dr. Umar. Ignorance is not an excuse. But once you have been educated, which is what this video, this presentation is to do, it is to educate our people. Once you have been educated, there is a greater responsibility. See, ignorance destroys you, but rebellion not only destroys you physically, ignorance destroys you physically, rebellion destroys you spiritually. You are, once you know something, you're accountable. The scripture says the servant that knows his master's will is beat with many stripes. So once we know these things, it is up to many of us that are, the Most High has put a word in our mouths and respect upon us, that we have the ears of our people. He has put it in our mouths to teach these things, to break the back of ignorance in the lives of our people. But in doing so, that takes the responsibility from us onto you. Once we tell you we are free, the blood is off of our hands. And it is now in your lap to take the education and the information that we have put out there for you and make the adjustments, make the righteous choices and decisions so that you can be found pleasing in the Most High sight. Now, let's look at flesh, because this is at the root of a lot of this. The flesh has been in control for so long, it has been spoiled. Everything we do to satisfy the flesh, from adorning ourselves, putting on hair weaves and all these other things, makeup, and what we put on our, as far as clothes, and the showers we take, and the cologne and the lotions we put on, and the entertainment we like to enjoy, the type of music we listen to, the type of movies we watch, the type of people we surround ourselves with. It all is to please the flesh. And we have to understand what flesh is. Now, the word flesh in the scripture is basar, and it has a dual meaning. So in the sense of a physical sense, your body, the dwelling place of the spirit, and the seat of the soul, that is your flesh. It can signify your tribal identity, your physical descent, like We come from Yasharel. Some of us are from Yehuda. Some of us are from Levi. Some of us are from Simeon. Some of us are a mixture of multiple different tribal lineages. But that is our flesh, our biological makeup, such as Paul said in Romans 9:3, my brethren, according to the flesh. Flesh also describes man's fallen mortal condition, where the soul wars against righteousness. Genesis 6:3, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he also is flesh, basar. It reveals man's post-fall mortal frailty. The flesh became the seat of lust, the seat of pride, and the seat of rebellion. In the scripture, much like the word spirit, it takes true discernment to know when the scripture is referring to bloodline flesh or corrupted nature of man flesh. Though fallen, flesh still carries tribal identity and destiny, but it must be brought into alignment with scripture. In other words, it must be bridled, it must be trained. In the conclusion, one would want to know, if flesh is so bad and it wars against the spirit and it wants to do contrary to what the Most High has instructed for it to do, well, why did the Most High lock us in flesh in the first place? Well, let's see if we can answer that for you. Yah locked man's spirit in flesh as both judgment and mercy. Genesis 3:19. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shall thou return. It was a safeguard against man's creative power under evil influence. Why? Because the way that the Most High designed man and he made him in his likeness and in his image, man has an amazing amount of creative ability. Man has the ability to think things and that are abstract ideas and bring them into fruition, much like what the Most High was able to do. He would have to lock us into a physical constraint to prevent us from doing what Hashatan and the Watchers did. See, the Most High cherishes us. He loves us. And to prevent us from becoming a reprobated species like these Watchers and their offspring, he constrained us so that we could only go so far in our rebellion, because he doesn't want to destroy all of mankind, only those that are dead set on being rebellious. Romans 8:20-23. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who had subjected the same in hope. Because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of Yah. What is he saying? You will be delivered from the bondage of your physical constraints, and you will be living as a spiritual child of Yah, just like all the other celestial spirits. But that's not while you're here on this earth. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Ruach, even we ourselves grown within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, waiting for us to shed this imprisoned body that we have, to wit the redemption of our body. Without this restraint, man could become more dangerous than the Elohim themselves, the fallen. We would be extremely dangerous in every sense of the word if we did not have this physical limitation upon us. Not to mention that when Adam fell, the Most High told him, "You will die. You're going to die now. Now you're going to die." Before you were eternal. You didn't live in the constraints of time. You had day and night that separated the seasons and things like that, but you were not locked into time. You were not locked into gravity. You could look into the spirit realm and see the heavens. You cannot do that now. Now you must do everything by faith. Now everything comes by faith because you destroyed that bridge in the spirit realm that allowed you to see past the physical realm. Now only special instances and specific people do the Most High allow to peer into the spiritual realm, and it is always for a divine purpose, not just simply for you to do these things. Now there are people who can peer into some spiritual realms through wickedness. That's why you have psychics and all these kinds of things like this, soothsayers and all this kind of stuff here. They are using wicked devices, tapping into dark spirituality because they don't want to move by faith. So people want to go to the psychic to get answers on their dead relatives or and all these other kinds of things. They want to speak to the dead. They can't let go and all this kind of stuff like this here. They want to know what's going to happen tomorrow. What is my future? What is this going to work out for me? Is that going to work out for me? They want somebody to give them some assurance. Whereas we, the children of Yasharel, we walk by faith. So we have to get in the word, get in prayer, and seek the Most High and allow him to reveal these things to us and give us answers and bring confirmation to those things to us. So that is the locking in of our physical being. And let's look at what Job said. Job 14:5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass. So we see where the Most High has limited the ability of man to go but so far. And so in conclusion of this particular portion of the 3-part man series, I want to impress upon you that your flesh is the problem because you trained it wrong. All of us, we trained it wrong. Some of this training was inherited through the conditions of enslavement. Some of it was things that we got ourselves involved in even when we knew better. Hello. And some of it is just unfair exposure. You know, like I talked about the opening of doors to children. Sometimes your parents can take children to an environment that opens up a spiritual door that will become a stronghold in that child's life as they grow older. Sometimes there are perverts that get access to children and they do things to children or even to women or to men. You know, they do things to elderly, to animals, and you expose the physical and mental and spiritual elements of these people, these vulnerable victims, by the acts that have been perpetrated upon them, and it creates a struggle and a stronghold for them for the rest of their lives until deliverance takes place. So what I am looking to encourage you to do is think about some of the things that you're involved in. Think about some of the things that you eat, some of the people that you surround yourself with, some of the activities that you participate in, and weigh those things out against the word. And those things that are not righteous, you have to attack it. The Most High is not going to come and take the taste away from you. You have to work it. You have to put on your feet that are shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace and walk your way out of sin, just like you walked your way into sin. He doesn't make it easy. When a person wants to lose weight, a 600-pound person, they want to lose weight. Those that go to Mexico to have a tummy tuck or something like that, you know, those weight loss surgeries, 9 times out of 10, when they come back, they end up big 6 months later, a year later. But people who go to the gym and put in hard work, They change their diet. They're getting up early in the morning and exercising. They're not sitting around where people are barbecuing pork ribs. They're not eating pizza, ice cream, potato chips, and drinking soda. Those people maintain their health because they work hard for it. But you don't appreciate anything when you don't work for it. That's why when you go have the tummy tuck, which is cutting corners, you too lazy or impatient to do the hard work. You don't want to put in the rough hours. You don't want to put in eating the right thing. So you run and go get the surgery and you come back with a new body and the same habits, the same filthy, unhealthy habits. And then you're right back big again. How many people have lost their lives? Cutting corners is not a good thing all the time, especially when it comes to weight loss. And that's the same thing with sin. There is no shortcut to righteousness. You have to train yourself. You have to bring your flesh under subjection. And a lot of that has to do with not being in the scriptures the way that we're supposed to be, not meditating and praying the way that we should, not worshiping the way that we should, listening to righteous music that ministers to our spirit like we should, surrounding ourselves with righteous people and righteous conversation that challenge us to do the right thing. They're not going to allow us to sit comfortable with the excuses. Well, I only like this because such and such, or if it wasn't for this happened to me, I wouldn't be doing this. No, real brothers and sisters that love you are not going to allow you to use those things as crutches. They are going to challenge you. And that doesn't mean that they hate you. It means they love you. Like the Most High, I chasten those that I love. If we didn't love you, we wouldn't care what you did. If we didn't love you, we would probably encourage, like, yeah, go ahead on and do it then. We don't, hey, what you want me to do? But because we love you and we love each other and we want to see each other prosper and be in health, even as our souls prosper. So I pray that this message is a blessing to you. I pray that you receive it in your spirit and in the spirit of love, which is how I'm presenting it to you as the Most High gives it to me. And of course, it hits me first, and I am on it. Again, if anybody would like a 7-day meal plan, I'm creating them every 7 days for myself, but I'm not a selfish sister. If any of you would like one, shoot me an email and let me know. If enough people reach out to me, I'll include one in the handouts that we do going forward for the messages that we present for you all here. Another thing that I wanted to mention to you all before we go is that I did learn that our honorable sister from Gates of Hodah, she does her live streams on Wednesdays. And so as to collaborate with our sister and not run interference with her, I want to move our Wednesday 8 p.m. sessions to Thursday 8 p.m. if that's okay with you all, because I love our sister and the work that she's doing over there, and I think all should be subscribed to her channel. She's teaching some really, really great information over there, some hidden things that these people thought they have gotten away with for so many years. This is the Most High has used to confirm many of things that he has taught me over the years, and I didn't have the tangible evidence to prove it. But this sister, the Most High has anointed her for such a day and time as this, where she is able to find the documents, literature, articles, video clips that prove the things that probably not just me and many other brothers and sisters have felt in our spirit that the Most High has brought to our attention. She is able to bring those things into manifestation through the literature and information, the evidence and facts that she finds. So she streams Wednesdays and she uploads videos on Sunday mornings. So there's two different messages. You'll get the Wednesday live stream, and then she has a video that she releases every Sunday morning. And so if you are not watching our beloved auntie and sister Lisa Cabrera, she covers Hebrew news for our people. Beautiful sister. I love watching her cover the news. Again, we have many brothers and sisters that are out here doing a great job. And family, let us all understand we all process information differently, and the Most High is doing something different with each and every one of us that will fit together in a unified puzzle and for the benefit of the kingdom. So just because we don't always agree on little tiny things or some aspects of things, we may not agree where our homeland is. We may not even agree with some of the spelling and pronunciations of some of the Abarim names and things because of the long and, oh my goodness, torturous time our people have had. I sent you guys out a captivity paper. I don't even know what to call it. It left me so devastated. It just basically showed that we have been in some form of captivity for over 2,000 years since coming out of Egypt, and we have only been free 120 years in our own land under the King Saul, King David, and King Solomon. But because of all of this, we all have different thoughts on some things, and that's okay. Family members have different opinions and ideas and beliefs and feelings about different things. But at the end of it all, we are a family, and the ultimate goal should be to please the Most High, live according to the law, statutes, and commandments, and wake up our brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave it there. I love you, family. You are a blessing to me, and I pray that I am a blessing to you. Shalom, and I'll see you all again soon.